exploring lakes, rivers, and reservoirs across the country with an unyielding goal to enlighten viewers from a fisheye perspective. Come along and we'll investigate the habitat. Much more than a fishing show, this is an eye-opening aquatic experience. Welcome to Kim Stricker's Hook and Look. Sound, accompanied by vibration, are two supplementary elements which help game fish detect the presence of prey, yet utilized more so in turbid water. A late fall warming trend is passing through, compelling Kim to enjoy the virtues of Strike King's red-eye shad, lipless crankbait. Then, he further validates the pattern from his underwater point of view. Following a disappointing start in deep water, Kim ties on a Strike King Tungsten Two-Tap red-eye shad, lifts the trolling motor, and makes his way shallow to fan cast scattered weed beds up on the flats.
I'm gonna throw that two-tap across this flat. As I cross it, it might tell me something. Well, that tells me something right there. Right up on the flat. Ooh, nice fish, too. Come up to my net, sweetheart. Look at that. Yes. The Tungsten Two-Tap red-eye shad. Oh. He was up on the flat, cruising the flat. That's that little, the two-tap. It's got two tungsten knockers in there. Very nice. Well, we'll continue working the flats a little bit, baby. Very nice. Thank you. This just might be a two-tap show. The two-tap tungsten red-eye shad is going to work today. I'm approaching a big weed bed that right next to the drop-off coming up here. And I would think that the inside of this weed bed here ought to have a fish or two. Just kind of doing a moderate, steady retrieve. There's one. Ooh, they're biting my red-eye shad. They are biting it. They're up on the flats today a little bit. Ooh, he's in the weeds now. Ooh, get out of there. Ooh, that's a nice fish. Another nice fish. I like having a net. He's not as nice as I thought he was. That happens to me all the time. But look at that broadleaf cabbage hanging around that cabbage. Yeah, not a giant fish, but a fish. Decent. Heck yeah. Well, I'm gonna catch me another one. The area of this flat that is just flat isn't really where I'm catching them. I'm catching them right near the weed patches, right near those cabbage patches. That broadleaf pondweed is holding the bluegills, and that's where the bass are coming to feed. Broadleaf cabbage. That stuff is thick as can be. It's hard to rip out of it, that's for sure. There are a couple of things I take into consideration when choosing my line for presenting a red-eye shad. In this particular case, it would have been more beneficial to use 15 to 20 pound test fluorocarbon like Seagar Abrasex. Fluorocarbon has less stretch than mono, enabling you to more efficiently rip the lure out of the heavy vegetation. The added abrasion-resistant quality would be a benefit as well. With that said, I previously had 20-pound Senshi monofilament spooled up on my cranking rod. Reason being, the heavy mono is more buoyant than fluorocarbon, allowing me to run a red-eye shad more efficiently in shallower water.
Now that's a mouthful. Stick around. Hook and Look will be right back. Hook and Look is brought to you by Strike King Lure Company, #1 in fishing lures. Seagar, trust Seagar when everything is on the line. Power Pole, swift, silent, secure. Aquaview, reinventing underwater cameras. And by Indian River, Michigan Tourist Bureau. Pure water, pure trails, pure north. Welcome back to Hook and Look. If you've just tuned in, Kim is fan casting weedy flats with the new Strike King Tungsten Two-Tap red-eye shad.
You can cover some territory with a red-eye shad, that's for sure. It's a weed. No, it's not. It's a fish. Well, it's a good fish. And I thought it was a weed. Ooh, that's a decent fish. Oh, yes. With a mouthful of red-eye shad. There we go. He has got a mouthful of red-eye shad. And a net full, too. Get that off there. Look at that. Did he want that? He thought that was a nice, good-sized bluegill. I mean, he took way back in the tongue. Let me get the pliers. Look at that. There we go. Very nice, very nice. Healthy fish. You like that two-tap as well. They're biting my red-eye shad. Good day for it. We've had a couple of mild days. For Michigan, this is extremely mild. This is the 2nd of November. We got a cold front coming through. Got rain and thunderstorms predicted for later this afternoon, this evening. But right now, those fish have come up on the flats for like one last little blast before the cold hits. Looks like rain. I don't mind a little rain, I just don't want it to start lightning. There we go. Nice fish. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a big one. That's a big one. Ooh, that's a big one. Oh man. Come over here, darling. Oh, it's a big old northern. Jeez, I was gonna say. Ah, gosh. Come on over here with my red-eye shad. Look at the choppers. I was expecting to catch a few northern pike. They cruise the flats for bluegill as well and are crazy about lures with flash. That pike was up there for a reason. There we go. There we go. Oh, and that's a good bass. Oh, there he is. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, we just got one little hook in him. Give him a net. He's got one little hook. Oh, but like I said, that plank was up there for a reason. And so is this nice largemouth. Look at that. I just caught a northern pike up on that flat, and they're up there feeding on them bluegills as well. I knew there'd be some bass around. There could very well be some more. I hadn't fished across this yet. Nice. Nice fall, largemouth. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I'm digging it.
Well, if you're digging that, you're really gonna like what's coming up next.
No doubt, having a backup camera saves a lot of time and frustration when you're hooking up to your trailer. But if your vehicle doesn't have one, AquaView offers the Eyeball wireless trailer hitch camera. The Eyeball simply attaches magnetically to your bumper, pointed directly at your ball hitch. The 3.5-inch color LCD monitor plugs into your cigarette lighter and provides easy viewing. No more repeatedly getting out of your vehicle to check your position, and no more denting your bumper. You'll back up accurately each and every time. When you're through, just remove and store in your console. The Eyeball wireless trailer hitch camera from AquaView. Strike King has 3 types of red-eye shads. The original, which has the BBs in it. They made a silent version with no BBs, just for something a little different. And now they've come out with the Two-Tap, which has those 2 heavy knockers in there. It's just offering them something a little different. When comparing the 3 sounds underwater with our camera's hydrophones, you'll notice how the original red-eye shad resonates a higher pitched rattle, whereby the Tungsten Two-Tap emits a deeper, less intense tone. Again, here's the original, which utilizes several small BBs to enhance the sound. And here's the Two-Tap, which contains 2 large tungsten knockers which develop the clatter. Because sound travels so quickly in water, both the original red-eye shad and the Two-Tap tungsten can be clearly detected at a great distance from the very start of the cast. On the other hand, the silent red-eye shad puts out a subtle noise. Practically every lure omits some degree of sound and are not what you'd consider totally silent. This is because of the hooks and split rings shaking and vibrating against each other. But how much of a role does the component of sound make in clear water? It's a known fact that in clear water, bass feed primarily by sight. However, it's possible they might be further influenced by the addition of sound and vibration. But at what range can they be manipulated? A fish's strike zone is the existing distance a bass will travel to hit a lure based on a number of contributing factors, but none more important than water clarity. And we've confirmed that from an underwater perspective. Because of their demeanor, our observations have primarily been with smallmouth bass in clear water. When we study a bass's reaction to lures that emit sound, the fish's attitude and body movement will let us know what direction the lure is coming from on the retrieve. However, I want to emphasize this. It's only when the lure gets within a close proximity of the fish that we observe the lure's influence, which furthermore is also within the range of the fish's sight. To date, we have not been able to document any sound manipulation of bass outside the perimeter of their established visible strike zone, meaning we haven't witnessed the fish react and search for any sound out of its sight. In turbid water, the strike zone is reduced considerably, where sound and pressure waves most likely assist their ability to detect prey. And although I haven't yet documented my speculation, I highly question whether sound will blindly draw the fish beyond the zone's circumference. One thing I can assure you though, is underwater, our lakes are a pretty noisy place, with the ambient sound of boat engines running in the distance at the top of the list. There's one right there. That's a bass. Yeah, he's not that big though. Well, he's not that small either. Come on in here. Whoa. Hold on there. Get that out of you. Little guy. You were looking at them bluegills, huh? All right. Got any big ones out there with you? That's promising. There we go. When you find one, you find more, and that's a better one. Oh, you can hear, get that net. Oh, yes. Oh, baby. Look at how, look at how they engulf it. They are on that red eye today. You know, when they eat the bait like that, they really want it.
Stick around. There's more to learn. Coming right up. This portion of Hook and Look is brought to you by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. Evinrude, introducing the all-new Evinrude E-Tech G2. Sims Fishing Products, the choice of professional guides and anglers worldwide. Dr. Edward Lonieski, ethical and effective stem cell therapy. And by Sportfish Michigan, your source for the top charter captains and guides.
This next spot will catch them. Ought to be a bite or two here. Pop it off the weeds. Often when you pop it off the weeds, that's when the strike hits. Boom. There he is. Ooh, that looks like a good fish. They're all good. He's getting in the weeds, I know that. Look, he's coming up. Ooh, that's not a bad fish, I don't think. Oh yeah. This is fun. Fun. Come on up here, fish. Look at that algae. Oh, I thought it was better than that. Have you ever seen anybody think that every fish is such a big fish than me? That's because I get excited. But he wanted that old two-tap. There we are. That's not a bad fish. It's just he seemed like a biggin. Got lots of cabbage here and bluegills hanging on them. You can see it pretty good. That's one thing. You know, I've used Strike King's S11 sunglasses, but typically I'm wearing amber lenses, which are a good lens for all around. These are the cloud, is what they call cloud. It's more of a yellow that are great on cloudy days and rainy days, because I can see in the water very well. That's a good fish. That's a good fish, unless he's got a ton of weeds. I say it on every fish, but this one feels like a good fish. Oh, coming up, he's coming up down here. There he is. Oh, good look at that. Oh, that's a chunk. That's a chunk. Oh, yes. Oh, look at that, right in the old basket. Yes, nice fatty, feeding up for winter. What do you think of that? And he just ate that two-tap red-eye shad. I think I need some pliers. Let's get him here. Look at that. You had a whole mouthful of hooks, baby. Set that down. Look at that beautiful fish. Look at how fat he's fattening up for. There's bluegills in there. In fact, look inside his mouth. Look at the tail sticking out of his mouth. Do you see it coming out of his gut? All right. Nice chunky fall largemouth. There's no question, when you look at the bluegill the bass were spitting up alongside the red-eye shad, it's no wonder those fish were engulfing the lure the way they were. And next week, the big Florida strain largemouth are doing the same thing. Join my friend Shaw Grigsby and I for another episode of Hook and Look.
Hook and Look is a Kim Stricker production.